Welcome back to Monster Monday. It's been a little while.
It's been several weeks.
It's been a little while. We haven't done a Slasher Sunday, Stephen King Saturday. We've been slacking.
What?
Huh?
No,
No?
Mr.
What?
Mr. 70 Hours in Tears of the Kingdom.
Look, Zelda needs my help. It's just a fact.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, that's not my fault. You know? When Zelda calls, Hyrule Kingdom needs me. This is what it is. Alright, Resident Evil Afterlife, or Resident Evil Episode 4 Attack of the Clones.
No.
No?
Oh, well, actually, that could work, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works in the beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
So okay. This is interesting because they tease this thing at the end of movie 3 where, and I get it, like they kind of wrote themselves into a corner a little bit and then they wrote themselves out of it really quick, but we spend like 3 films establishing Alice getting powers, these telekinetic powers and all this, and regenerative powers and all this. Then we tease this big clone army of Alice's.
Yeah.
And then this movie just undoes all of that in like 10 minutes. He injects her with something that counteracts like the T virus in her and kills all her clones. And he's like, you don't have your powers anymore, which shouldn't seem to need them. Outside of like the telekinetic powers, she still is just as badass without them.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really make any sense.
It doesn't really change much.
No, but they do like strip her of her powers, and then take away all her clones. Which the last movie was like, oh man, just wait for all them clones.
Wait for the clones.
And then they're just
they're
dead
like
and wiped
gone.
out.
Yeah.
In like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So that was kind of silly. Another thing, outside of like the Fast and the Furious, because it has more movies. The Fast and the Furious has a very similar problem that this franchise does, and that is that our main character has like zero growth from film to film.
She's just so blank. She's such a
such a boring main
boring.
protagonist.
The thing I was like most excited about, I think when we finished 2, I was like, or maybe finished. No, it was 2. I was like, oh, her psychic powers, like that's gonna be neat. They're not neat. They're not special.
There's just nothing about her character that has any depth to it at all. But much like the Fast and the Furious franchise, there's not supposed to be. Like these are very like vapid, hollow popcorn movies.
Yeah.
Like there is no like the drama and the big dramatic moments. They're never earned.
No.
Character development is non-existent. It's really just like look at the pretty colors kinds of movies, right? Like, or look at the pretty people kinds of movies. It's like Alice is hot.
That's like it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all she's got. Like there's nothing else she has to offer. It's really like wild.
Yeah.
For 4 films, I know as much about her, which is nothing, in the end of the first movie as I do at the end of the 4th movie.
Yeah.
There's no like she just has this, and her acting is whatever. Like Mila can act depending on the movie. She's mostly the same character, but like when she plays Lilu in Fifth Element and whatever, or Joan of Arc in The Messenger or whatever, like she has some range to her. She's not a bad actress, or The Fourth Kind when she's the therapist. It's just that in this, she's always just like somber, quiet, says a couple lines, kicks dogs. Like this is.
I know. Yeah, she's so one-dimensional, and like I don't know anything about Alice's character. Like I can't really tell you like what she likes, what she doesn't like, what motivates her. Like,
No,
and they kind of
nothing.
set it up to be like she's motivated to save people, but I don't really know why, and I don't really believe, like, I don't know, it's not compelling. It's really not compelling, and, yeah, I don't think she's a bad actress. I just think that there's nothing written for her to
Correct.
act. Like, I
Correct.
think she's doing what she can with what she's given, which is like a bunch of one-liners mostly, and like meant to make her look really badass. And it sucks because like she can be hot and still badass and still also have like depth. Yeah.
Sure. And you can't say this isn't her fault because she's literally at this point married to the director writer. Like, she can shape this character. She can be in bed with her husband and be like, yeah, no, we're rewriting this.
How popular, like when these movies were coming out, because like I saw the first one and then like I never saw any of these like in theaters or anything.
They all went to theater.
How?
There's 6 of them, so pretty damn
popular.
popular.
They were popular, but I mean like people, were like really into them.
There was a guy I used to work with. His name was Alex. He had said, and I want to say, I'm almost positive, I'm like 99.9% positive, it was this one, Resident Evil Afterlife, where he was like, that was the greatest movie I ever saw in my life. And I was just like, what? This? Like, have you only seen one movie? Yeah. Or... that kind of caught me off guard. He's like, I just went and saw the new Resident Evil. It was the best movie I ever saw in my life. It was so awesome. And I was just like, that was your... Wow. So, yeah, I mean, these land with people, I don't know. I don't want to say my father, because my father does like depth to his films. He has a particular desire with certain movies, but like, there's a good amount of people who just want to shove popcorn in their face and watch people shoot things and not think at all. But there's nothing interesting about this movie. There's nothing going on in here. There's no setup that's paid off.
No.
Right? Like, we run in to Claire again, right? We meet her brother Chris. And all of that stuff is just so hollow.
Oh my gosh,
There's nothing there. And once again, for the second time now, they've like teased and set up a romantic interest for Alice.
Dude, you had to
Luther.
Tell me. You had to literally like, that was the setup. That's the romantic part. And I was just like, what?
It's like one like side glance smile 2 times now.
That's so lame. I actually thought this was the worst movie of the series that we've watched so far.
Yeah.
I was like blown away by how like lower quality, like it was so cheesy.
Yes.
The fight in the beginning with, I don't even remember his name, but the glasses guy, the sunglasses dude, his acting was pretty awful, and it was just so like over the top and phony. And I think you said it really well when we were watching it, that it's like, this is a movie, like they tried to make a video game movie. Like, they wanted to make it feel like a video game, but it's done so poorly.
Yeah.
And, none of the stuff with the brother, like you were saying, like, it's hollow. All the dramatic things that you're supposed to be connecting to, like, I just have no connection, no stake in any of it.
It feels like cheap game cutscenes. Like, not great game cutscenes, right? Like The Last of Us or something, where it's like, that's cinematic and the acting is amazing. The Resident Evil franchise, a lot of it does have that, like, I don't even want to say theatrical, but it's that video game dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, hey, come over here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that, it feels like a cutscene from like a PlayStation 1 Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's rough, man. This whole film is just, it's not entertaining. It's, as you said, I mean, cheesy, poorly written. and Albert Wesker is the villain's name, and he's a villain.
Oh, that is Wesker.
Yeah, he's in the games. He's introduced all the way back in the first game.
He looks like the character then from the video games.
And that's just it. They're trying to make it feel like a video game, but like too much. Like they're trying to make it feel like a video game.
Yeah.
And that isn't going to work when it's this.
Yeah.
Right? Like with the Last of Us TV series, they tried to make it feel like the game, but the game is cinematic.
Right.
Right? Resident Evil, a lot of those, especially the early ones, they don't translate to film. Like you can't watch that as a movie and it work dramatically. Even though I now in the remakes it works a little bit better, and I think that the voice acting and everything is just done better. But this is just poor for sure, and you're not invested at all. The look of the big tall brute guy with this
Oh yeah, that guy.
cover on his head and the big hammer and everything.
The, like,
he was cool. He looked like he was out of Silent Hill for sure. I was like, this is the wrong franchise. I guess they're going for the chainsaw guy from Resident Evil 4 is what they're going for with him. But he carries like this big hammer axe thing instead. But that's straight up Pyramid Head. Yeah. But like with the head of chainsaw guy from Resident Evil 4. Yeah. Like I don't. Yeah. So he looked cool, but that's not enough.
No.
That doesn't...
Definitely not. Yeah, I liked the look of the, I don't know if they have a name, but the, like, weird zombies that come out of the, like, sewers and stuff that have, like, the tentacles in their mouths. That was new, and...
The zombies look like zombies. Yes. Right? They actually, they look more like Romero zombies at this point. They're more, falling apart and all that, so... Yeah. But once again, this franchise is bloodless, goreless, lame as hell. Yeah. Yeah, right? It really is. The only real, like, gore you get is when the baghead with the big hammer, like, gets his head blown off by the quarters in the shotgun or whatever. And even that is really weak, but it's, like, the only thing you actually even see. Yeah. This would be, like, if this franchise was exactly how it was, and you threw in like tons of gratuitous nudity and gore, it would definitely be way more like it'd be way more entertaining to watch. But like when these kinds of movies don't have the more like simple pleasures attached to them, it's like, what's the point of this? Yeah. Like big action movies where people are just like, there's no plot. The characters are bland, and then the action scenes, they like shoot a guy and the guy just falls down, and there's nothing like interesting to the fighting. It's like, what am I even watching? What's the point?
Did you say, I don't know if you said it in our last review or if this is what you said to me when we were watching it, but this is kind of like one of those films that non-horror fans also think of, like, I feel like it's
or even action fans.
Or action fans, think that that's what the films are like.
Yeah, they equate it to like the whole genre. Yeah. Yeah, which is annoying. Yes. Yeah, these are perfect examples of like hollow, vapid film that people are like, this is why I hate action movies. This is why I hate horror. This is why and it's like, this does not speak for the genre. It's like when people, attack a certain subgroup of people and then chalk it up to the entire culture. Yeah. Right? Exactly. One person does this, so everyone like them is bad because of it by proxy. That is super frustrating. And this franchise is like that. This is exactly that kind of franchise you can point your finger towards and be like, well, what about that? Yeah, see, it's like that. And it's like, it's not like this. This is a bad example. Yeah. This is not representative of action horror, right? Like, there's great action horror. It can be done. They blend very well, actually. It's just not here. So, anyway. All right. Let's get into some scenes and be done with this. This is a silly film. The movie starts with a top-down shot of a bunch of umbrellas. Get it?
Yeah,
get it?
I get it. I get it.
We said we were going to go to Japan, which we start in Japan. It's a flashback. We get to see, like, the first girl. This shot's cool. It's in the rain, bunch of umbrellas. The girl's kind of sitting there changing, and then she jumps on people. This would have been a really cool moment to watch her, like, tear someone apart. Yes. And that person get up and tear other people apart. And really, like, this vicious, violent, dark opening. Think, like, Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake. When Sarah Pauli's character comes home and she's, like, in bed with her husband watching, The Voice. No, at that point it would have been... what's that show called? The American Idol. Oh. And then, she wakes up and the kid... not she wakes up. He wakes up, gets the girl. He gets bit in the neck. And then, that whole thing. And they're like, the whole street's falling apart. Like, I love zombie openings, right? When the turn happens. And Black Summer, the TV show.
That one's great.
When everything's going nuts and we follow that zombie for like 5 minutes as it's attacking people. Cool. That shit's awesome. So like if you could throw that in here, but it's just like as soon as she jumps on someone, it like goes to the opening, and it's like you could have a really cool moment there to like have Japan go nuts and like spread the virus World War Z style.
Right, but instead it's like the cut to a map and see it like spreading by like darkening the lights in this city, which was a fine visual. I just want more from this franchise. If I'm watching a zombie movie, unless it's like really deep, which they happen, right? Like I've seen some for sure that have a lot of depth to them, character development and whatnot. Those movies I don't need the gore as much. But it is a zombie film, so I do kind of want some for sure, because I feel like of all the genres, outside of maybe slashers, zombies are the ones that really do call for gore. Yeah. We've talked about this in the past, and this one is just bloodless. This franchise is just so weak. It's such a weak franchise in that way, and it's a zombie franchise that's R-fucking rated. This is an R-rated franchise. Why? I know, so it's like they can totally
this
go
feels
for it.
PG-13.
It does. It does feel PG-13. I actually, aside from the language,
there's maybe a
couple of curse words.
Yes, a couple,
there's
and
not
that's
any
it. Why bother?
That I remember. Yeah.
Why even bother?
You could just make it PG-13.
You just take out a few curse words and you got a PG-13 movie, and you could appeal. This would be catered towards a 13-year-old anyway.
Oh, easily, yeah. Easily.
Who's there just to look at Mila Jovovich in a tight outfit kicking things.
Right.
Right? Like that's your audience.
Yeah.
So you're isolating your audience by throwing in a couple curse words. It's not like a Quentin Tarantino movie where like everybody is cursing every 3 seconds. It's 3 seconds. You get maybe like 3 to 5 F words. Cut those out and you got a PG-13 movie. Like there's nothing in here.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, they could have.
You see Alice's tits in the first 3 movies. But like they're so cool. I mean, you're literally talking the first movie is like side boob. The second movie or the third movie is like her in a tank and she's like this, and you kind of see it like from the front for like a half a second when she falls out or something. It's like they're nothing. They're not even worth like being in the movie. So you could totally take those out, make this PG-13. I mean, personally, no, I'd like more. I'd like the gore. I'd like all of it. But it's like I don't get it.
To have such a small amount.
Like, why make this R? If you're gonna make a movie R, make it R. What's the point? Like companies always want you to make them PG-13, right? Because you can cater to more of an audience and get more butts and seats. It's and a lot of filmmakers have to fight for R ratings. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to fight for an R rating and not even make it R rated, I don't get that strategy. Like, what did Paul Anderson say to the producers to be like, no, I need this R? Yeah. And they're like, okay, why do you need this R? Because I want to see my wife's side boob. Like, what do you like? There's nothing in here for an R.
Mm-hmm. No, there really isn't that I remember at least.
Can you guys point out something that I'm misremembering? That's like, oh, this is R.
Yeah.
This was awesome, and this was R. It doesn't even have to be awesome, but this is R rated. It's not there.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it the whole time, and I ain't seeing anything to justify an R rating. Another thing I hate with any film these days, in modern times, like in 2020s especially, I'm tired of recaps in movies. Get rid of them. We don't need them, because I'm sorry, like, once upon a time, I think that they are, like, justified because people didn't have access to films as much, or, you know, YouTube or anything where you could watch, like, an explained video or whatever. Don't go to a fourth movie in a franchise and then expect them to cater to you.
Yeah, to catch you up. That's so crazy
silly to me.
Yeah. I agree. There shouldn't be any recaps. They're super annoying.
It's a waste of screen time.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't get it. Like, if you didn't see the last movie, I know a lot of people just forget lots of things.
Sure.
But, like, go on YouTube, watch a recap. Like, you saw the movie, so you can do it. Right? Or if you're like, screw it, I don't want to see the first movie. Like, if you're like, boyfriend's dragging you there, you can watch a quick 5-minute recap video on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And if you and if you don't care enough to, then they shouldn't care enough to catch you up.
Sure.
Oh, I'll just let the movie catch me up. The movie ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit there as someone who knows what's going on, and for the next 5 to 10 minutes have them be like, this is what happened last time. And they have to, like, write it in a way where it doesn't seem like they're doing a recap.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But it's always, every one of these movies starts with, like, my name is Alice. I've been on, you know what it reminds me of, actually? Phantasm.
Oh, yeah.
This happens in Phantasm.
Yeah, it does.
My name is Reggie.
Right.
I've been chasing the tall man for a long time.
That's totally what it is. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't like it then.
No.
And I don't like it now.
No.
I saw the last one, Reggie.
You
don't gotta
Reggie.
catch me up.
We watched.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't need a recap. I just don't need them. They need to go away. Like, I'm glad the Marvel movies don't do it, because it's like 20 films. You know, we're at like 28 movies now. Or no, it's even higher. It's like 34 or something.
Half
it's
of the
crazy.
movie is just a catch up on everything.
It's like, just
last 10 minutes. You're like, here's the new stuff.
They do it in a smart way where they'll kind of do it for like a millisecond.
Yeah.
They'll say something like, "Well, weren't you in this place with Captain America?"
Sure.
But they do it in like a way that's humorous.
Yeah.
But these moments, I'm so over them. I'm like, no, dude, I don't even want to watch this movie, let alone a recap of the last 3.
Right. 100%.
So there you go. Anyway, and yeah, the laws of physics, like, let's just
they've
just
already
throw them out
been
the door.
thrown out, yeah, in all the previous films.
They just do not.
They don't exist.
They do not apply in this
That's
world.
the video game,
but especially to Alice.
Yeah, but that's that video game kind of like logic,
which is fine.
There's tons of action movies or like sci-fi movies where you're just like, I don't know if that's how it would really work, but
yeah, I don't think John Wick could survive falling off the heights that he falls. I know that.
Or even like in Fast and the Furious with Dom jumping over like friggin' tons of moving cars.
But here's the difference, and we've talked about this many times, so I hate to just reiterate things once again. But when a movie's entertaining, and you're in it, and you'll accept the rules much easier because you're like invested.
Right.
You're like, oh, I'm into this world. Like, John Wick can take anything. He can get hit by a fucking bullet train, and he'll be fine. Because I'm just so into the movie, I don't care. Mm-hmm. Unless there are lines to that, of course. There can be where you're like eye rolling, like, come on, man, I was invested, but now even I can't follow you how ridiculous you're being. But like, it's you get more leniency the more into it you are.
Sure.
So like with this, when you just don't care at all, then she's like doing insane, asinine things, you're just like
really?
What?
Yeah. It's because we're not into it. 100%. Yeah.
100%. So when she does have her telekinesis, I don't know if this is just like an energy drain thing or whatever, but her clones get it as well. So I guess it's now part of like her DNA, even though they're all dead in like 2 minutes. But it's got to be like an energy thing, because if she has that power, like, why would you ever use anything else? Why would I even bother fighting anyone else? Like, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. You're not using your abilities, right? Like, Superman goes out and he has these like abilities to fly and whatnot, and he just chooses to randomly fly.
Yeah,
like, no.
I agree. I think it is like she can only do it for so much.
They don't it's not show explained. That. Yeah.
I know that's not explained or shown, but that's what I assumed, because as you said, if you have an OP power, like, why would you only use it for some things? Obviously, the other explanation would be that she doesn't really want those powers, because she was like, "Thanks for making me human," but
she uses it sparingly to stand up against. Yeah,
like, she doesn't want to use the thing that was like forced on her, I guess. But I think that at that point, it's like, if you have an ability that can make fighting easier, it would suck that it was, against your will that you received it, but you could use it against the people that did it to you, so you might as well use it.
But okay, even if that was the case, make mention of it. Like, yes. Like, no, I don't want to use those powers. They're a curse.
Yeah.
Whatever. But this is just it. That's what this franchise is. It doesn't even bother with thinking about anything. So, moving on. They are definitely trying to be the Matrix in this movie. Like, Paul W.S. Anderson, like, he watched the Matrix movies and was like,
it's like, I want to do that.
We're doing that. We're doing that. Yeah. But, he's like, but without all, like, the plot.
Right, without
and
the, like,
fight choreography.
The deep,
and the cool
commentary on society.
And the talent.
Yeah. I'm
gonna make not awesome Matrix movies.
The Notrix.
Yes. That's what this is called. And this bomb that he uses that creates like a freaking black hole, basically.
Oh my god,
that thing's insane.
It is crazy.
And you can pick it up. Like, it's like small. Like, I thought that thing on the wall, like, it's on like one of the pillars that holds the building up.
Yeah.
I thought that was like one of many.
No.
But no.
Yeah.
Because, like, the end of the movie, she tricks Wesker into believing he's blowing up the ship, and they're, like, running up to the deck to be like, it makes us think that they're trying to get off the ship, but realistically, they were like, I didn't want to miss it. I wanted to watch him die. I actually liked that. I thought that was kind of funny and clever writing. But whatever. She puts it in there. It's just, like, some, like, thing she picks up. It's, like, this big. And it's unbelievable. It takes out the entire city.
Yeah. I don't know. That Umbrella Corp, man, they can make some strong bombs.
That thing is wild.
Yeah.
That is crazy huge. Now, maybe it is one of many, and then the one that's on the helicopter is just by itself, and all it needs to do is take out the helicopter, because the blast isn't as big.
It isn't. I did notice that as well. Maybe.
So, yeah, maybe. There's like 20 of them in the building, and then they all together converge and make one big, implosion. But this thing's wild. It is crazy. Huge. The first bomb. Anyway. Yeah. How her and Wesker, especially her, how she survives this helicopter crash, total nonsense.
Oh my god.
We even see in slow-mo.
Yeah, and especially because she's like human at that point.
That's what I'm saying. She doesn't have her healing abilities anymore.
There's no way.
They crash head on in a helicopter into like a mountain.
Yeah. She's dead.
She's 1,000% dead. She's 1,000% dead. What should have been there is in that scene. She should have died, and then she should have like came out of the water or whatever and been like, all my clones are dead. Like, we find out that was one of her clones, right? But no, it's her. We know it's her because she has the shorter hair.
Yeah, that's
right. That's
the OG one.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm finding things in my mouth like so much. There was a hair. Now there's a popcorn kernel.
You're
like
just
thing.
swirling stuff away.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I got like nuts in my cheeks. Anyway, that is absurd. Okay, yes. So there you go. 6 months later, we're in Alaska. We're looking for Claire. At least some continuity there. Yeah. That's where Claire and them were. Kmart. What a name. They were flying off to Alaska, and they get these like spider things on their chest. I got nothing to say about that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah. Claire. I do have something to say about that.
Oh, do you?
So Claire is straight up like freaking. What's his name? Why am I blanking on his name right now? Link. She's straight up like Link from Encino Man when she attacks Alice. She's like a caveman. She's primal. She's freaking totally, haggard. Her hair is all ratted. Everything. We literally go from that. She pulls the thing off. We literally go from that scene to the next scene. Her and Alice are like
in a
flying
plane.
In a
helicopter.
Yeah. No, it's a plane.
Oh, sorry,
it's a plane that they land on the roof. They literally go from that scene to them in a plane, and Claire is in full makeup. Yes. Hair is washed, styled. Like
straightened, brushed.
I was like, should they just drop by like a freaking salon? Really, I was like, can we get a makeover really quick?
Yeah.
Another thing.
Really funny. It was really, really funny.
Another thing that they just kind of do away with in this movie for the most part that I just don't feel is prevalent here is that the whole world is a desert now.
Yeah, that's just kind of like...
That's just like a plot thread. They're like, nah.
They're like, we're just kidding. We don't like that.
Yeah.
We want to be in the cities again.
That's too hard. We're not doing that.
Really weird. Yeah, that was just gone.
Yeah.
Oh well, just like the clones. But the clones they at least killed. They didn't say anything about the desert.
Yeah. They didn't say like...
The atmosphere.
Because it would have been cool if she in the beginning of the movie, she found a place where there was vegetation. And she saw she was crashed and then she got out and she saw a flower and it would have been a really pretty moment to see life again.
Nature's coming back.
Yeah, nature's taking back over, right? Like in The Last of Us, where nature's reclaiming the earth. Mm-hmm. That would have been cool, right? These opportunities, but it's that would require depth. That would require writing. That would require, some kind of brain power put towards these movies. And that's just asking way too much from the filmmakers. So there you go. But we go from feral girl to cover model in 2 seconds.
Yeah, really quick.
Ridiculous. Everything about them landing on the roof is absolutely absurd. But it's, I don't know. With this franchise, it's to be expected. And I don't want to harp on, the lack of reality because obviously there's nothing realistic about the franchise and that's established. So moving on from that, I just wanted to point out, regardless, it's absurd. There's no way you're landing that on that roof. No way. She ain't Maverick.
No, she ain't.
So there you go. And the chick that goes swimming with them, that's okay. I think that I said the same thing about part 2, where there's a lot of quick, random, unexpected deaths in this one.
Yes.
Where people are just kind of pulled away, and you're like, oh, we're gonna see them again, right?
Yeah.
And it's no. Mm-hmm. No, they're just dead.
They're just gone. It is, yeah. It's weird.
She just she goes with them, and she gets killed, and it just feels for nothing. Her character's just kind of gone. And you're like, oh, we're done with her.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. And I get it. It's movies, and I'm not going to complain because why would I? But I love how hot everyone is. I know. In the apocalypse. They get there, and these guys are just hanging out with a couple babes. Yeah. And a couple more babes arrive. I know. And it's
Like, really?
Do only hot women survive in the zombie apocalypse?
Apparently. Those are the only ones that men are saving.
Right. They're like, you, no. Yes. You.
It's awful.
And, okay. Okay. The elevator scene, can someone make sense of this to me? I don't get this at all. So, they all get in the elevator.
Yeah.
She throws a bomb up on top of them, which is just insane. And the thing's going to drop like 20 stories into the water, which at that point, once you're hitting like, I don't think they hit terminal velocity at that point, but it would be going quick. And hitting water at that speed would be like hitting concrete. It would maybe give it a little cushion, but very little. Like, there's no guarantees or even close to a guarantee. In fact, like, pretty much 99.9% everyone's dying from that. From the explosion itself would probably kill them, let's be honest. But then Alice doesn't go with them. It's almost like she's like, this is probably going to kill them, so I'm going to go some other way. Because it's the only thing that makes any sense to me. Because then she, like, takes a like, she goes John McClane, wraps something around herself, jumps off the building, and then lands perfectly on the exact same level they're on. And it's like, if you're not going anywhere else, why didn't you just go with them? What was the point of that? It was like, to blow the zombies up on the roof? But what are the...
blow them up and
they don't need to be blown up.
I know.
They're not going to get down there. They're on the roof.
They do start jumping off after her.
Yeah, but they would be smashed on the ground. They wouldn't even be able to move. Their bodies would be freaking mush.
Yeah.
So, like, blowing up the zombies on the roof isn't going to help.
No.
It's not going to do anything. Like, you just need to get in the elevator, throw it up there, jump in the elevator with them, and go down with them.
Yeah.
To do this, which is already so the odds are, against you. Then she takes another risk by jumping off a roof with something that may or may not hold her to land on the literal exact. They are reunited 10 seconds later, and it's like, why don't you just go with us? You didn't. I get that it's supposed to be she takes out the zombies, but they're 20 stories up.
Yeah.
They're not coming for you. Once you're down that low, they're not going to do anything up there. They're just going to be like, and then they're going to fall, and they're going to smash on the ground, and they're going to be dead or broken. Mm-hmm. It's stupid.
It is really stupid.
It's so fucking stupid. And let's see. Oh, yeah, and also, she attaches herself to a line, right? And then blows up the entire roof as she turns around jumping. Yeah. Right?
And the line.
And somehow the like, what is it? It's like like
cords or something almost.
Yeah, something like that. Somehow that does not get annihilated by the explosion.
That still holds and lets her land.
It doesn't blow up the wall that it's attached to. It doesn't break the line. Yeah. Nothing. That's completely intact. It blows entire bodies apart. The whole roof is gone. But her line is miraculously saved.
Yes.
God damn it.
Obviously.
God damn it. So dumb. And then in that scene, she literally flies.
Yes. Oh yeah. We were laughing. She like unhooks herself and like.
And then she's just like flying through the air and then flips and like.
So weird. She doesn't have.
She doesn't have her powers anymore. No.
She can do that.
Nope. It's. Yep.
Yep.
Wesker can literally teleport in this.
Yeah.
He turns into like Agent Smith. He's like.
So ridiculous. I hated that fight so much. It's just so cheesy. It was so corny and not in a good way for me. I think maybe some people like these films for that element, which is totally fine if they're into it, but it just does not work for me. I don't see the charm. Like, it doesn't come across as charming.
No.
For me.
Chris and everybody get trapped in these like cubicle things. And somehow, like, I think it's Chris or maybe it's Claire. I think it's Chris. He's like takes his gun and shoots it directly into this thing like 5 times in a row. There's like no consequences to that. There's no ricochet. Yeah. If you shot a bullet right off this thing right in front of you, it would come back. Like he's in a very enclosed like phone booth size area. You shoot that thing. Like, it's going to hit around a few times. Yeah. And you're going to get hit by that thing, right? doesn't just go into the glass and fall down. Its inertia is gonna have to be released in one way or another. It's gonna go, it's not water slowing it down.
Yeah.
Right? Now, granted, I will admit, the same thing happens in Mission Impossible. Recently, we just watched all 6, prepped for Dead Reckoning, Part 1. And this exact same thing happens. But, perfect example. This movie is stupid.
Yes.
So I noticed it.
Yeah.
And when it was happening in Mission Impossible, I was so into the scene, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. You just were like, whatever.
Yes. That's the difference. You'll look past it if you're into the movie.
Yep.
That's all there is to it. I'd also love to know how when they go down in the pods, right? And then Alice goes to retrieve them and she grabs the data pad.
Yeah.
On the data pad, there is not only pictures of them.
Yeah, I know.
And they're not like pictures of them frozen in there.
It's like...
They're like pictures of them that were like taken
Yeah.
for like headshots for like a high school graduation. They're like...
Yeah, they're like posed photos.
Yeah, they're posed photos. And then they have all of their information on it. Date of birth.
Yeah.
Name.
I don't know how they get that, but...
How'd they get a picture of them?
Or that, yeah.
That must just... It just like takes a little bit of their blood and then like finds...
Looks them up in like an old like
in a
government...
database.
Yeah, database or something.
Well,
Must.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
They're both cops.
So
their information was on there, but like they have it on everybody.
Yeah.
But they just have information on everybody, and this computer just scans them and pulls up their ID badges, puts their pictures in there. But it does it so quick because Alice gets them out in like 5 minutes.
Super fast, yeah.
But it's a complex computer system. So there you go. She puts the purge bomb on the ship. Wesker dies. I mean, I thought he was in the rest of these. I could have sworn he was.
He might be.
How the hell he could possibly have done
know.
that, I have no idea. Luther survives.
Yeah.
So there you go.
He's alive.
He can live to bang another day. So him and Alice can have the promised romance because they had such great chemistry and so much.
So much that I was invested in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they think they get away, but they never get away. Umbrella sent about, 6 trillion helicopters. They have a lot of resources and a lot of people left for a world that was like a desert wasteland.
I know. I don't know. They all went underground, apparently.
Maybe they cloned each other.
Maybe
there's just like 1,000 Weskers coming in 1,000 helicopters. They cloned helicopters too.
No.
I don't know. I'm done. Stupid movie.
Yes.
And I'm not looking forward to the next 2.
Me either. So it'll be good to finish them.
But we will finish them.
We'll watch them for you guys.
If you guys love them, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad you do. We don't.
We don't.
All right, that's that.